So you're thinking about maybe doing some music lessons for your child, so you have to decide which instrument, what age to start, and then you have to find a teacher. Anthony Burbidge here with us today with some tips. How young is too young?
To be honest with you, my own daughter, we started her at 2.
Well, I would think so. She lives in your house, and she's got the teacher right there.
Yeah.
Do you need to be looking for some sort of musical inclination, or can anybody really?
Anybody can, and what I hear from parents is often they do see an inclination from their child. They, if you have kids, you know that they all kind of come prepackaged with their own agenda. When they come into the world.
Really do, don't they?
But they don't have to have that pre-inclination. The language of music is really a language, and the earlier that we start to speak it, just as we start to speak English, the more it changes our brain and the way that our brain, the hemispheres of the brain sync up. And that affects everything from not only music, but to the way the child learns and progresses in school. So the earlier we start, the better.
Yeah, there is a real overlap, isn't there, between brain development and learning about music. Now, how to figure out which instrument to start with?
Well, that's definitely on the inclination side. So if you've got a little guy who says, all I want to do is play the drums, then you usually know. And I hear that from parents a lot who call me and they say, okay, I've got a 9-year-old daughter, and for 2 years she's been talking about, I want to sing, I want to be Katy Perry or whatever it is. So finally I said, okay, I will call and get you lessons. So if it's a passing, again with our own daughter, she's only 3.5 now, but she was asking for a year to play violin, which was not my idea. I thought we'd get her into piano lessons first, but she very specifically asked about violin, so we put her in violin lessons.
How about private versus group?
So private versus group, it really depends on what your goals are as a parent, and also the child's goals. The advantages to a group class is that obviously you're going to have that social interaction, and for a lot of young musicians, they can feel kind of like, I'm passionate about music, and yet when I go to school, my friends, they might be into hockey or skateboarding or whatever.
Okay. So they can find like-minded kids.
Exactly, yes. And then making music, ultimately, whether you end up one day playing in a church group or an orchestra or a rock band or whatever it is, you're going to be making music with other people. So being in a group class can be really advantageous that way. And then, of course, usually group lessons are less expensive. So as a parent, I'm always thinking about that, and I'm thinking about that for my own students. On the other hand, with one-on-one lessons, if your child has difficulty with music, for example, with tuning or rhythm, those kind of things, then sometimes it can be better to have one-on-one, so you can really get in and dig deep on those. Or on the other end of the spectrum, if you have a child who is super gifted and wants to,
the protege,
go to Broadway or whatever, then they may need that extra attention.
Okay, take the cues from your child, give it a whirl, see what comes out of it, and help them develop their brain learning music. It helps in all areas of their life. Thank you for your tips this morning. Do you have a musical child in your house? You may want to think about some lessons. To learn more about choosing a music teacher, check under the links in the news on our website. And for more on all things parenting, pick up that free copy of Calgary's Child Mag online at calgaryschild.com. We're back with more of the show at the bottom of the hour.